Okay, so our next requirement in ARC section 60A is related to professional judgment. And that's at ARC 60A.09. It says that the accountant should exercise professional judgment in the performance of an engagement in accordance with SSARS. And we've got some explanatory material down here at age 17 through 21. So let's go down and see how we can go about exercising professional judgment during the engagement. All right, so now we're down in the explanatory material, and this first paragraph gives us the why for why we need to exercise professional judgment. It says it's because it's essential to the proper conduct of an engagement in accordance with SSARS, and that's because we have to apply relevant knowledge and experience to the facts and circumstances in order to make informed decisions on the relevant ethical requirements and other matters throughout the engagement. And so the main distinguishing feature of performing an engagement under SSARS is that the accountant is trained, he has knowledge, he has experience, he's developed competencies and achieved reasonable judgments and makes informed decisions about appropriate courses of action when undertaking an engagement in accordance with SSARS. And so if an accountant didn't have these qualities, it would be almost useless for him to perform this engagement, because the result of a SSARS engagement hinges on the financial statement user's belief that they are getting some sort of assurance that the financial statements are free from material misstatement. And that comes from the accountant's training and knowledge and experience. That's what they're buying. And so if the accountant comes across some difficult or contentious matters during the engagement, then he needs to consult with his engagement team or with others outside of the firm to make informed and reasonable judgments. So several of the facts and circumstances that the accountant learns throughout the engagement in order to make professional judgment, or rather to exercise professional judgment and make good decisions, are his knowledge acquired from engagements carried out for the entity's financial statements in prior periods where applicable. So prior period engagements for this client, the accountant's understanding of the entity and its environment, including its accounting system and application of financial reporting framework, for example, GAAP, in the entity's industry, and also the extent to which preparation and presentation of the financial statements requires the exercise of judgment by management or the accountant. So if there's some major material estimates that are made in the financial statements, then the accountant needs to understand how those estimates are accounted for. And so whether or not professional judgment was used appropriately in the engagement can be boiled down to whether the accountant properly and competently applied SSARS as well as the accounting principles and the financial reporting framework based on the facts that he knew up to the date of the report under SSARS. So someone else outside of the firm or outside the engagement team who comes in and is evaluating whether the firm or the accountant applied professional judgment would score that on whether the accountant properly applied and the accounting principles based on what he knew. And so professional judgment is a very subjective quality to implement. However, it can be evaluated based on these things. And finally, this professional judgment needs to be exercised throughout the engagement, performed in accordance with SSARS. So not just at the beginning or at the end, but throughout the entire engagement. It also needs to be appropriately documented in accordance with requirements under the ARC sections. So this one and then others that we will go through. And also, professional judgment is not to be used as a justification for decisions that are not otherwise supported by facts and circumstances of the engagement or in a review engagement, the evidence obtained. So we can't just say that, hey, we decided to do this procedure because professional judgment. We have to somehow justify why we made that professional judgment based on facts and circumstances and the evidence that we obtained.